Okay, so you finally click the link and you are hoping to install Team Foundation Server or maybe upgrade, right? This video, I'll be telling you how to install Team Foundation Server 2015 and then upgrade 2015 version of Team Foundation Server to 2017 version. So you will know how to install TFS and also you will know how to upgrade TFS. Um, two versions have little differences, but the concepts and the knowledge you will gain is the same. You will It's applicable for the latest 2017 version, which is the current version at the time of this recording. All right. So before you even think about using on-prem version of Team Foundation Server, which I'm gonna cover in this video, I will highly recommend to consider using cloud version of TFS because it's in the cloud. You won't have to install SQL Server, TFS, hardware things, or manage your backups. All these things, which is an administrative overhead, I would say, you can be free of all of from this effort. If you can go with cloud, go with cloud. If you can't, for some whatever reason, your company have some GRC requirements, like GRC mean governance, risk, and compliance, or some, I don't know, ignorance reason. Sometime you need to educate your governance and other security experts, that what it means to be on cloud, and this is a separate discussion, by the way. But anyway, if you have no option for cloud in your company, okay, you have no option then. You have to install TFS in on-prem, and I'll be covering how to use it. But you can use cloud even you are just trying to evaluate. Just sign up with this page, which I have covered in a separate video. You go to wheelstudio.com and just click here, get started with free, and you will need a Hotmail account or a Microsoft account to sign up. That's it, a few clicks away. But let's deep dive into installing Team Foundation Server. You can also install Express Edition if you are just evaluating. It allows you to up to 5 users. Same for cloud. If you want to use free service, it's up to 5 user limit. But anyway, let's assume you're not using Express, you're not using cloud, you are using, you want to use on-prem and you want to install on your machine. So what I've done is I created a virtual machine called TFS, and it's Windows Server 2008 R2, I guess. Yes, and it's not latest, but this will do the job. So this is the blank, fresh machine I just provisioned on the Azure Cloud, and we'll be using this to set up from the scratch. Right? Features section, right? And you click Add feature. It might be a little different if you go using Windows Server 2012 or 16. Not much. You'll have still same window, but anyway, you will have this window, and you need, as I said, 3.5.1. All right, and I'll obviously need WebIS, so this is required, so I can add this as well because it's selected the IS. So now what I see is, yes, management console. If I want to manage IS on this machine, probably I want to configure my, a website for TFS in IS. I can use that to use that console. So just make sure anything you need for IS, you should have it. Windows authentication. I think I would say basic authentication and Windows. Okay, we're good. Next, so it will be installing now web server. We just click install. and it's installing .NET 3.5.1. With 3.5, by the way, is required for SQL Server. Well, we will be installing right after it. IIS is required for TFS, because when you install TFS, it creates a TFS portal, a website, and also web services, because all interaction you do with TFS is through web services or web portal, which is hosted in IIS on the server. And Windows Process Activation is used by WCF services, which is Microsoft Technologies, and web server. Obviously, it's all Microsoft technology, but it's just for web services. Web server IIS is, as I said, and .NET is for SQL Server. I think we should be good after that. We can install SQL Server right after these prerequisites are met. Okay, it's done now. Let's see what we got here. All right, web server .NET 3.5. Okay, we're good now. So let's close this server manager. And what I've done is I've downloaded the setup files from my MSDN, or you can download from Trial if you want to use Trial from the Internet Microsoft site. So I've created a software folder. Here I have 2015, TFS 2015, and TFS 2016. What we're doing is we're installing TFS first. Create a dummy project in there, and then we'll migrate to, it should be 2017. Sorry, my bad. All right, in 2015 we have two files, SQL Server and TFS. So it gets a bit tricky when I'm in virtual machine. So you will need some software, because I am using Windows 2008 R2. It's don't have by default the mounting feature. If you are using later versions, you will have, but if you don't, you need to install some software, third-party software like PowerISO or Magic ISO or something like that, to mount the ISO file into your virtual drive. But if your server has internet access, you can use download .exe file from MSDN or from even a Trial. So some servers, companies don't allow internet access from your production server, so you have no option to download a local, offline installer, like an ISO image or .exe even, but it's need to be fully set up file. But anyway, we just mounted SQL Server, so let's go there, and we see a drive. We go there, double click setup, and it should be launching in a minute. All right, setup is launching now. When you see this window, you have few sections here. Planning is some documentation to help you guide your planning. Then you click on installation. That's the main thing you need to be focused on. And first link, new server install, standalone installation, and add features. Then you will need full text semantic service, and you will also need analysis service. Well, yeah, if you are using reporting services for your TFS installation. Okay, I'll be quick, I promise. Okay, so Windows Authentication Mod is the one we're gonna go with TFS. Okay, I know it's not a usable option for other applications. If you want to use SQL Server for other applications as well, you might consider mixed mod, because some applications don't work with Windows Authentication. But Windows Authentication is the most secure option you want to use. Click the add current user, which you are as a logged in. So I'm logged in with this user on this VM machine, which means this user need to be admin, and you need all the permissions to get that installation job done. All right, so I need to add this thing. Most people forget about going to this data directory, and frankly, they don't know what they're doing. Um, so what you can do better in general is to move this path first of all from C to D or E or F or whatever drive you got other than your system drive, because these files will take space, dude. These files will like database directory, log files, temp directory, stuff like that, backup directory. Um, you need to move it. And secondly, this is a long path, dude. This should be like D drive backslash and the last name of that like data. Okay, I won't do it for this demo, but you might consider to change it. File stream, we don't need this to enable service for TFS. This is fine. All right, good catch. So again, for this analysis service configuration, because we are installing analysis services, and we have a separate user, a separate install. So same thing. Install and configure. We also want to configure. We just don't want to install. And all we need is this. Already installed. Checks prerequisite checks. Everything is. You can read it just for review. And click a button. It should do the job for as far as TFS installation is concerned. We are good for SQL Server. So that's it. There's a few things. You gotta tick a box. Select your own username rather than NT. Good practice. You can use NT, but it's not a good practice if you wanna, move servers, stuff like these, and also for security. So, and then you select bunch of options, add current user, and click next, and that's it. By the way, the one more benefit just came into my little memory is benefit of using your own usernames instead of NT service account is that when you set up the backup job, and we'll do it when we install TFS, you need to specify a location where you want to drop the backup. Okay, and TFS use SQL Server backup job to do the backups on a network share, for example. And then backup job is running by SQL Server, not by TFS. So that account that running that job is we just configured in our setup in SQL Server. So that account need to have read-write permissions on that network share to store the backup successfully. If you use NT, you will be having difficulty to set up this configuration, especially if you are in a corporate environment where you have tight security. You better have a dedicated account for your SQL Server that you can submit somewhere. Maybe you have some forms or some other process to giving access to network shares in your organization. You can just give that account to them and request for read-write access on network share and explain why we need that. So you can store your TFS backups on that network share and with that account, right? So this makes sense. Do not skip this thing. This will make problem later when you need to set up backups for TFS. All right, so it's done. Succeeded in the report. Everything well done. Okay, so we're gonna close it now. So I'm installing everything on C, and it's just for demo. This is D drive is temporary. If I install somewhere here, I will lose everything. But recommendation: use as much data off from system drive as possible. Okay, now 2015 is just SQL Server we installed. Now the main thing that we were intending to install was TFS. This is the setup file. I hope this is offline installer. Yeah. So I just mount it and go to my CD, double click. You can also use CD if you got CD, or you just burn it. Okay. And you just double click that thing and it shows you a little nice install, just like Visual Studio install. is Team Fortress Server 15 update 3, and it will install on C drive. It don't give you any options to like what part of this feature you want to install. It's just everything in the install that you need to install, and hopefully it won't take too long. So it's now installed. Yes, but remember what we said? It's just not installation. The 3 steps. We prepare the server, install .NET stuff and IS stuff, and then we install things that we did, and now we configure things, right? So for SQL Server, we didn't need configuration because, yeah, we're not doing SQL Server. We are doing TF install. For TFS, we'll take care of all of the configuration in even if we need it for SQL Server as well. So this is the Team Fortress Server Configuration Center. If you somehow close this window by mistake, you can go always here in a Team Fortress Server and click this thing, the shortcut, to open the same window again, right? Sometime you can close, or you're gonna go out for lunch. Oh, well, I don't know. Your your policies can be have limitation. You cannot keep your VM open running for an hour, for example. It will kill the session and all, and you will lose everything. If this is some sort of thing you deal with, you can come back, close everything, and come back later when you need, and open this thing again. Anyway, so we gonna have 3 different options. You're gonna install basic server, which is no longer option if you want to use, for example, reporting service or some advanced analysis services, which is recommended. You should be using reporting services, or SharePoint integration later you want to do, and application tier only. So use application tier here and SQL Server on different server for scalable option. If you have less than 250 user, even I would say around 300 users, you're good for single server installation, which is full server installation. If you have more than 300 users, this is my personal recommendation, it's not from MSDN, then you can go not I mean, you can scale out the server and then install SQL Server on a separate machine and TFS on a separate machine. If you will use upgrade option in the next 2017 version, don't worry about that. But anyway, this is for proxy. If you're just using the server for proxy, we have a separate concept for, speeding up your check-in. If you have distributed teams, you want to install proxy server on that network, their local network, and which will improve the GET operation, especially for build services. SharePoint, you don't need to configure this. All right, so just select full server, which will help us to configure reporting services as well, and start the visit. Okay, so what we need to do now is you can click this option. You want to participate in the program. No, if you don't have internet access, for example, you can use that. All right, so now it's asking you database server. Where is your database? If you're in separate servers, a single SIM server, it's automatically select. You can click a test link and do just text connectivity. It's using Windows authentication to connect. You have some advanced options, but I don't think you need that. So again, as I said, it's good practice to use a dedicated accounts for your installation. So here, service account is use primary account for TFS. If you want to use same account for all of the services like SharePoint reporting service, you can specify it here. So we will specify it here. So what we created was TFS server, right? What was the account name? Password, I remember. Very complex password. Yes, it's actually a formula. All right. So all set. Next, provide settings for your application tier services. So default port will do. Enable access service if I'm using Git. Okay, good to go. C drive file cache. All right, this one. If you want a good performance, I would recommend use it. I mean, file cache is used for just for like version control, store your files, and speed up that some operations. So, but it takes a lot of heck of space if you have obviously big repo. And don't use system drive. Okay, I'm stupid here. I'm dumb. I'm everything, but you are genius. You don't need to use C drive, right? I'm doing it for demo. Use a different route, please, if you want to use file cache, and make sure this drive has enough capacity. And it says actually 50 GB free at least. I don't think you should consider this. You should consider depending on how big your application repo is. Anyway, use this good thing for performance. Reporting, yeah, I want to configure reporting services. Why not? Reporting is very key feature of TFS. So let's go next. Reporting service instance default URL is fine. It will create a website for reports. Nice reports. But you can use different URL if you want to do that. So reporting services is running on the same server. So you can install reporting service, separate server, SQL server, separate server, TFS separate server. Very flexible, scalable options here. All right, my reporting services are good, and I want to provide I will highly recommend to create a separate account for reporting service if you can. So I want to use just TFS for sake of simplicity. So it's your decision. Okay, SharePoint. I don't want that. End of. Period. It's too heavy for my little tiny machine, so I won't do it. Next. I'm not migrating at the moment. I'm just stalling it, right? So I want a collection. So just keep a given name. Default name is fine. I'll need at least one collection to get me going. Okay. Collection and projects. So all the projects in TFS are in collection. You can have multiple collections, and each collection is physical database in SQL Server, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, you have collection of projects, and you can have multiple collections. Generally, you should have only one collection of projects, unless you're planning to migrate your system, sell your software to a third party. Distribute your databases for some reason. You want separate SQL Server. You want to give that database to someone else outside your company. You can have separate physical collection, so you can give them separate. All right, physical separation basically. But if you don't have any possibility to do that, just use simple one collection of the project. All right, this is all the settings you just set. Just gotta have a look, and if all good, you can click verify or click next. There's no point to click verify. It will verify anyway when you click next. So it is now verifying. I don't know why we have two buttons here, but anyway. Okay, it should be quick. All right, it's now done. Everything good except the reporting. We use the same account as TFS, and as said, you should create a separate one. So this is the warning I'm getting for that. I'm good. I know what I'm doing. Okay. So when I know what I'm doing, I can click configure. All right. So it will configure everything for us, like accounts we used. It will set permissions for that. So you don't worry about these things. It will make sure the account you give for reporting service, for SQL Server, for TFS, it will set the appropriate permission for each account for you, because you provided that, and because the setup you're running is under the account, which is part of the local admin. It has authority to do these sort of things on your behalf, which is good, right? Okay, it shouldn't also take too long, but let's bear with me. All right, it took a while. I paused the video recording, but not that much, not too bad. Maybe I think 5 minutes. Phew. All good, green, everything, big ticks. And you got this URL, so you can click it. And it's asking me a password. Ooh, I don't have a password, but I can use my account. That the account that I used to install TFS. It should be by default added. So I'm in. Oh wow! And I don't have any project, so I can just click browse and I can see default collections there. And I don't have any project in 0 projects in there. I can create new projects. So I can now hopefully click finish, and I'm done with TFS 2015 install. So close, and I'm set. One more thing, you need to configure a little bit more. It was installed, and remember we have still configuration phase going. So even though we have did some configurations, but this is TFS application tier. If you go there, you have some things. If you want to manage users, you go here and create groups stuff and administer security, set the permissions for each group, and you can also add users here by selecting a group like administrator, and you can add users from Windows. Like I can search for it and add Windows users or create TFS users. But this is a separate subject. Let me maximize it. So there are a couple of things you can do for security wise. You can one more thing I just saw: email alert settings enable equal to false. Obviously, TFS is collaboration platform. Emails is the fundamental thing you need to communicate, and it's a very good idea to enable this. But we cannot, right? We don't have SMTP server at this point. So what I do is I need to provide SMTP server here. So if your organization have SMTP server, I hope your organization have SMTP server. You can use that and using the password to set this up. If you don't have, and maybe you're sitting in a garage, a very small company maybe, I don't understand why you will need this on-prem version though, because you can use cloud version. But if you're a big company, you have policies and controls and other stuff, you will need SMTP. You must have SMTP server. But anyway, if you can't for some reason, you go in Windows, features, add a feature, and go here and click SMTP server, install it. And I won't do it in the demo. And then once you install it, you will have SMTP server, which you can just provide that to your local host here or server name. Port is default, and you're good to go. All right, so you can test these emails later. You have option to create a project from portal as well. That's what documentation is, I think, explaining. So you go in admin portal, go to new team project. I won't read it. You can create it from Visual Studio as well, and there should be an option. I got it. I can delete the project from there if there is one. I can create one. Oh, this is a fundamental thing. Why it's not there? And it's for administrators, right? And this is administration console. But anyway, this is sometime part of the game. What we need to do is we need to go to the portal, because I don't have Visual Studio right now. So I can go to my admin portal. Okay, I'm not seeing little gear icon because I'm not in a collection. Okay, it's a bit odd for me because I generally am not in the blank page like that with no history and all that. But I can't go to project page, a project portal page. So what I can do is I can just click this little icon like the administration. Thank God I found it. So I need to click this view collection page link, and then create a new project, and I can give a demo project. And I will select Agile. Doesn't matter because CMI, Scrum, different process templates. I like Scrum and Agile. CMI, well, it's too much for me. Okay, just Agile is good for Kanban, I guess. Scrum is good for Scrum. And version control is centralized version control. Doesn't matter in our demo. Let's create something easy peasy, and then once it's set, we can add some, I don't know, work items there, some core files. I can't upload, I don't have Visual Studio as set, but we can test some migrations. So I'm just creating demo projects, some work items there, just for testing purpose. I'll click navigate to project. Now I'm in my project, and this is code, work, build, test, release. Everything TFS provide is in the portal is there. So it's full-fledged install. I go to work and I add a couple of stories. Story 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stories, right? And I can add some hello. All right, so I'm set. I'm done some work. I have some work I need to migrate now to the next version, and then I should have the data and project available in my new latest greatest version. So if you want a coffee break, have a break and have some time, relax, have a long breath, and come back. All right, so you are back hopefully after a year. I mean, Microsoft might have released 2017 version of TFS by now, generally after a year. So we need to now upgrade to 2017 version. First thing first, take the backup of everything we need. So if in case something goes wrong, we can restore from the backup. So we should be expecting the best. I never had a needed error in my history for last, I don't know, 8 years at least to do the rollback. But you need to prepare for the worst case scenario. But backup is very important. But that's not the first step, right? The first step is we need to stop the TFS services. So nobody using TFS, we need to take that production server offline. The goal is here to ensure that backup we use to move that we're using are actually no one is using the data after the backup, so we don't lose any data after the backup, and I restored the old version and everybody start yelling, oh, where's my stuff? So to do that, we can go to C drive. Do what? Take the server offline to stop all the services of TFS. This is cool command in program files where the Team Foundation server is installed. Here in the tool directory, it should call, I think, if I remember, TFS service control, something like that. If I sort by application type, it's application, and I can see all applications. So here we go. TFS service control. This is what we need. This is a command, so we need to open the command prompt, run as admin, and I can go to this directory, and so I'm in there, and now I need to just run this command. I can copy paste is my bad habit, but it's a good habit in some way, so I don't do any typo. Okay, what I do type is I see this command, then QUIESCE. Okay, so it should stop all the TFS services. I just hit enter, and it's now stopping Windows service, I don't know, different jobs, right? TFS job agent, TFS job agent, TFS job agent, queues, all these things that TFS internally use. IS pool is stopping as well. So this is basically downtime. So you should be sending an email to your users. TFS is going down for that long, your estimated period with buffer, and you will obviously notify whenever your TFS is up and running and tested. We'll do some post-deployment testing, but there is some downtime. It's not a cloud, okay? So you need to communicate that thing as well. After that is done, all these services are stopped while it's still in progress. We can now do the backup. Oh, I have two options for backup. Now I have stopped all the services. I'm not sure I can use TFS admin control, administration console to the backup, because we can do the backup from administration console as well. Just for your information, I can show you quick. So this is a TFS administration control we were using before. From start menu, here the option should be backup option. Here we go. So nothing scheduled, but I can schedule if I want to. So I can share a network path. I don't have a network path, but let's try to use this C drive somewhere. Create a folder. Not a good idea, but it's just for demo. Okay, must be network path. I can share my folder locally. Okay, and then give my local host name and then create a network path that way to overcome. But you get the idea. You get a network path and you just take a backup, schedule the backup. This is scheduling. Okay, I don't want to schedule. I want to take a full backup right now. So I can actually first need to set up the backup schedule. A simple wizard, right? So it won't let me. Okay, it is letting me. Okay, so I check what database I need to back up. Okay, which instance, and then it shows me if I want to send emails, if something goes wrong nightly, and something like that, some readiness checks. It won't let me go further because I haven't set my network location. So that's simple wizard. You won't feel any difficulty. And once that, you can we'll have a link on that top right to take full backup now. And you can click that, and it will back up all the databases that you selected into that network location for you. If you prefer to do the manual backup from SQL Server and you grew in SQL Server, then you can also go to SQL Server 2014, open Management Studio, and that's the reason why we install Management Studio on the server, because we need to manage the SQL Server at some point. If it's not publicly accessible, or at least on local. So here are the database we want to backup. So there's another option to do the backup, which is you right click the database. These are report server. These are the main TFS backups databases, TFS configuration, where all the configuration of the projects goes and collection goes. TFS collection for each collection. If you have 5 collections, you'll have 5 databases for each, one for each. So we only have one collection, which is the name of the default, so TFS underscore default collection, and then warehouse, which is used for reporting purpose. So there's the data sum. So we want to keep backup everything here. So let's do it quick. I will right click the database one by one and do the backup. So what I do is I go tasks, right click tasks, and the backup, and it's a long name here. I can change it. So what I can do is remove and then add, and then I can pick a different directory in my local machine, and I can provide that location, right, like this one. Okay, and obviously I need to give a backup file name like report server dot BAK. Okay, I'll add, hit enter, and it will add a path. I want to do it now. I can do it as well. Okay, add it to, now I'll create 2 backups. I don't want one. So you get the idea. So I'll keep default just to be quick. but you should be choosing a different location, obviously not a system drive. Full backup, yes. I want a full backup, and if make sure there's no connected sessions in your database. We already stopped all the services. You can see hopefully all this successful messages. Some services skipping, but anyway, all set. We can just press OK, and that's it. It's so quick. We don't need this one. We can back up the configuration database. So right click, tasks, backup. Okay. I can also select this option, override, if I have some locks, but doesn't make difference in our case. And press OK. And it's now 100% done as well. And then my other database, I don't need to go through all just for the demo, but let's do it. It's quick. It hopefully won't take that long. We have a small database. We only have a couple of tasks. So all set. So we're done with the backups. We have back files. Well, there's another option to backup as well. Third option, which means you can right-click database, any database, and you can go to files. Come on, hurry up. The window is not coming. Oh my God. Oh, maybe I did something wrong. So you go to files, and you go to this location, the path of the file, where this log file and MDF file is, this MDF file. So I want to go here, and I can back up this file as well. So I can go here, and these are all my database files. But you can't just copy paste, I think, these to some different location like that before you do something else. Because it's saying can't complete SQL Server. The thing is, it's basically in use by SQL Server. So what you can do is, if you want to copy that way, the MDF file is a full backup. Well, it's the same thing, but you basically right-click and take it offline, or just detach, okay, or take offline. So whichever you do, you do need to do it for every database, and then you have to you can copy MDF file. And then next, when you want to take off back, for example, you're moving a server, right? In that scenario, it is more optimal to use MDF file than the back files. So you can basically take it offline, or just detach the collection whole database, and then you move over the MDF files in a new server, and then there will be attach option here, attach option, right? And then you select your MDF file wherever this file exists on that server, and then you click OK, and your database will be appear right here. Simple. Detach, copy, move, attach. Okay, so there are a couple of options you have to the backup, but we are set for the backup so far. Okay, this was the installation part of SQL Server and Team Foundation Server. Now I will be covering the upgrade, how we go about upgrading to the next version, which will be 2017 of Team Foundation Server. I won't be upgrading SQL Server because SQL Server 2016 required Windows 2012 or above, and I am running, by the way, Windows 2008 R2. So it's technically not possible to install that, but it's not make a much difference. The same wizard you are familiar with. I can actually show you how to do the upgrade for SQL Server as well. So just I double clicked, and it's giving me a warning that setup limited to reporting and SharePoint. I can't install SQL Server, this version of SQL Server, on this window. So I can continue just to show you how you go about upgrading. So we covered the installation part. We go to installation tab and we click this one. But for upgrade, if you want to upgrade SQL Server, you can go to the upgrade at the second last link, and this will launch the upgrade wizard, and the same wizard, same steps you did for installation, almost same. You can continue. So you got to accept the terms, and it will check some rules. I want to include updates. It's a good idea, like service packs or other. If I have no internet connection, you will need to download that offline version of update to install. But now it's just downloading some, copying some set of files on your disk and preparing it for the upgrade. Okay, it seems like it's now doing something. It won't be successful, I know, because of the Windows limitation I just talked about, but is should be enough to show you how to upgrade. So it's running now upgrade rules, and I can see there's no feature to select actually. So when I click next, it gives me the warning that it's not possible to change SQL Server features to upgrade in this release. And the same reason because the older Windows. So there are some validation errors. So I can't go further. But that's the next. You select the features just like you did in installation, and that's it. There's nothing rocket science here. So we'll close it. I will unmount it. And then we can install TFS. So don't worry about that. Play with that server. If you have Windows 2012 or above, go with that. You can upgrade. It's not a requirement for TFS 2017 anyway, but it must be 2014 or above SQL Server, which we already have. So we can install Team Foundation servers 2017. So if you have different versions of operating system, SQL, or things like these, you can play. I would suggest to have a test environment. If you have MSDN subscription, you can have free credits for Microsoft Azure. Actually, I'm doing the same right now. This is my Microsoft Azure account. I have different subscriptions, but you get if you have enterprise, you get around £90 free credits, or £35 if you have professional. It's different dollars obviously if you're based on US. But you can create very quickly virtual machines for your testing need. If you need to test it for specific data, obviously you'll need to do it on your internal infrastructure and need the data for your existing TFS database, so you can test it in that context. Anyway, so before I mount this, let me do it. Mount this and start. Come on. Okay, this is strange. Let me go again. So in addition to mount, you can also extract if you want to extract. So if I unmount it from there, unmount, and go to my software ISO file, and I should be able to extract it as well. Yeah, now it's extracting. So this is another option. You can extract all the files you need. If you cannot somehow mount, sometimes you can have problems. You can extract everything in a folder, and then you have everything. You can just double click on the exe on the root, and it will be launching Visual Studio. Before I install Team Foundation Server, maybe it's a good idea to show you something called a plan. So let me show you this is so we stopped the services, and then we did the backup. We tried to install SQL. Okay, we failed. Sometime it happens. We can skip this thing, not required. You might continue. Then we install. Now we're going to install Team Foundation Server 2017 with the wizard, and we can also set up build agents that we already may have installed. I didn't show you how to install build agents, but I'll show you now. We can uninstall these agents, install these build agents, new TFVC agent, and then we can do some post-deployment testing. If everything all goes smoothly, we have no issues, and we might have issues, but we try to roll forward. instead of rollback. And if we cannot successfully complete all these things, at least the thing we're trying to achieve is TFS upgrade, then obviously sometime, very rare, I never did in my life, but sometime you need to do rollback. I have tested the rollback, but I haven't did it actual in production. I never needed a rollback. But you can do the rollback if you need to. You need to uninstall TFS depending which position you are in. You need to uninstall SQL Server. Maybe you don't need to. You maybe failed in different position in the process. So depending on what you already have installed, what you need to roll back, you can roll back these things by uninstalling these softwares and reinstalling the previous version of the software if you have the database. So you install the older version of database, restore the backup you already took from like MDF file or a big back files, and then you install the previous version of CFS and the agents, and then do the same post-deployment testing in the rollback. So this is the rollback plan, and this is the implementation plan. So anyway, this is just for your information. That's the process we were going to follow. So we are now going to install Team Foundation Server. Okay, so it's gonna now acquire some softwares, copying on your local disk, which is already there, but some other shared locations, and then it's gonna install prerequisite part of the installation, and then it should be very smooth. It is not a complex or rocket science thing. TFS install is very easy and also quicker than SQL Server install. Okay, so it's done. So all we need to do is restart the server, and I'll be back after restart. Everything should be up and running, hopefully. Okay, so we just restarted the server, and now we're seeing a configuration screen. Actually, it was closed, and I just reopened it from start menu. So let me show you how. I just go down there, and in my Team Foundation Server shortcut, this is the administration console. So when you open this, you can click configure install features, and then this window you will be seeing. You'll be seeing it right after the restart of the server. Anyway, so you click start wizard, and then it will take a while, and then you can participate or not participate in your decision. Now this is giving you two options, that you want to install a fresh install or you want to upgrade your existing database. So most common, if you already have TFS running, you want to upgrade it, you can select this one, and this is what we're going to do. We got TFS 15 installed on the same server, so we want to upgrade using existing database. So we have database on the same server as well, which is TFS. So this is the database for configuration. We can tick this box to confirm that we have the backup. So make sure you do the backups as we described before for SQL Server database backups. And let me show you the database quick. So we got TFS configuration, default collection, and warehouse. So these are the main databases we need to back up, and you know how to do it. Anyway, next it gives you two options again, production upgrade or pre-production upgrade. So this pre-production upgrade is a new feature in Team Foundation Server 2017. That is that you can use your test environment or pre-production environment to test your upgrade before you can do the real upgrade. So if you might have some surprises or issues that you might need to resolve before you play this thing in the production server. So this is a really cool feature. You can use that to it basically download the database from your production without impacting the production system, and replicate that on your test environment and all these things, and try to upgrade from that test environment. So it's really designed for testing your deployments and upgrades. But anyway, we won't be using it. We will be doing real production deployment. So okay, let's give a user password. We can test it, and then it gives you options to either configure SSL or no SSL, just to secure your data like work items, source control, and other communication you do with TFS. But you can go without. Obviously, you'll need SSL certificate if you want to do that, use that. But we won't use it. Second is you want to enable SSH service is a protocol on that port for Git. It's a new feature in T Foundation Server 2017, and I think it's also in 2015, but update 3. So you want to enable this feature of Git. It's up to you. And then the file cache we already discussed. Okay, so go next. Provide search configuration settings. So on installing it, well, it's a very useful feature, to be honest. And ideally, you should be installing in a separate server because it takes a lot of I/O, disk space as well. And if your server is more than 60% CPU, well, this is if you want to see the performance, this is doing well. Your memory, your CPU is almost 0. I can't believe that, by the way. Anyway, if your CPU is 60% around, your memory is 60% around, you shouldn't be using this on the same server. But anyway, if you want to install it, you just tick a box and you give up where you want to store the indexing files and index of file. Don't use system drive again. Use a different drive, otherwise it will impact your performance of the server. Give a account which account you will be using. You can also use a separate server and give us URL of the service you already have hosted, which is the ideal way. You also want to give tick this box to allow whenever you create a new collection, or all existing collection will have this feature enabled. And the first checkbox is telling that install that feature for existing collections if you already have a few collections, and second is that in future any collection you will create, this feature will automatically be there. If you don't check a box, then you will need to do it manually. How? You need to go to the marketplace and you need to search for that thing and install manually every time, which is a separate subject, but you can do it later as well. Recommended approach, tick a box. All right, and if you go next, if I select this one, I don't want to install it in this because it will take a little time. So let's don't install it. You will also need to, it will give a warning to install Java, and you just need to confirm the license terms later when you select this, and that's it. It will be all set, Java install and home if you have internet connection. If you don't have internet connection, you need to download JRE manually before you run this wizard. So make sure if you don't have internet connection on your server, you download the JRE, install JRE manually. You can see the instructions on Oracle site how to install JRE, and then you tick a box this one and install that feature. Okay, if you do have internet connection, don't worry, just tick a box and confirm another box to confirm the license terms from Oracle, and you're good to go. Okay, simple, tick tick tick, and next. All right, reporting services. Yeah, we want to install it, and again, reporting service URLs. We are happy with these URLs, and then what database of warehouse will be used. We can test it. All good. Next, provide the analysis services. We can test again. It takes a little time, but it should be good as well. And come on, it shouldn't take that long. Yeah. Next. And next we need to give an account to which account that reports will run under. So we can give same user, TFS user, and okay, we can test it. All good. We don't want SharePoint, too heavy. And that's it. and I will click next. It will verify everything should be okay, and it will be it's now upgrading your data tier. And well, it's doing the readiness checks. It's doing some checking some rules and some checks, so making sure everything all good. If not, then it will show you warning or errors. Hopefully not. Okay. So we got one warning, which is fine. We're using a same account. I don't care about that in the demo. And we can click configure to officially sign off this configuration. So this is now in progress. It's now configuring database. It takes a little while. It will take some time because database is a real thing. And if you have huge database, I don't know how many collections and repos and big projects you have, depending on the size, it will take more time. All right, so it's now finally trying to start the website. It will take a while, but it has configured a database, created the website with new features, and configuring. It's configured the reports, web services, product collection, and it shouldn't take too long now to start the website. Okay, so it's done. So you can see how easy is it. Simple. But now you need to click next, upgrade in progress, and you can finish off. So just play around with that server, make a test environment by or just if you already have MSDN, you can have credits, free credits of Microsoft Azure. You can create some virtual machines on Azure, so you can basically test these upgrades, and I will highly recommend to play with these tools, which will build the confidence you need to do the real production upgrades or installations. Just have access to a machine which you can just make a mess on, and just play around, and you will learn a lot yourself. That's it. BigTick is a success, and now we're gonna say next, finish, close. So that's it. So to test it, obviously post deployment testing, we all we need to do is go to a URL, which is not this one, which is basically our server name 8080/TFS. So let's go into the browser. http://tfs :8080/TFS. So by chance it's TFS, but post TFS is the server name. Right? The account you have, you log in, and here we go, your project. You should have all the data in your backlog. And you got 10 stories, you got some text in the first story, so it is all good. Okay, I won't do anything else, but you can try to check in files from Visual Studio in the code. You can try to run some builds if you already have build setups, run some releases, make sure your system is working. Okay, so I will close. I know I said I will show the build, how to install configure builds, but I think I should set up a separate video, and I promise I will post it along with this video. So I'll add a comment in my video. So in this video I'll send a link where I can show how to install build agents of TFS 2017 version, and how to set up and configure build agents. So hopefully separate video will be better option, because it's very lengthy video. So I don't want to make you know so let's have some rest and have a break. So that's it. That's how we successfully installed TFS, upgraded it. And if you have any questions, if you need something different, you have different problem, I don't know, you have different version of SQL Server Windows, I know, and you're having problem, just let me know. I'll definitely what you looking for, I'll help you. Thank you for watching, and subscribe to my channel, because I will be keep posting more videos on Team Foundation Server, on administration side, on feature. Stay tuned, and if you like the video, make sure you thumb up the video, and also send the comments, and stay in touch. I'll be happy to hear from you. Thank you very much. Bye.